Hi there, welcome to the Obachanchatter. I'm here today to to review with you this movie. It's I saw it on the Look Movie channel, but it's also featured on Netflix. I think it came out a couple weeks ago. I think Thursday. It's called Jailbreak, Love on the Run. Okay, this is a true documentary about Vicky White. I think she's like 53 years old. She had worked for office, the corrections office in Alabama for 17 years. She was the second in command at this particular jail that she worked at, and she got sent an inmate there, a big inmate, 300 pounds, like 6'7" in height. He's there for murder, but it's a transit jail, so you can have anybody in there for somebody being locked up for a traffic violation all the way to murder. So it's a mix of stuff. So anyway, he had been here for a long time, but he had been in the Alabama system ever since he was a teenager. So he was well known by like the warden or other people who had served time, who had worked in the correction system. So anyway, it's a really small jail with real small like work quarters. So anyway, one day apparently Miss Vicky started saying his name is Casey White. That's great, Casey White. And he was walking down the hall. She was walking down the hallway one day, and he said, "You got a nice butt." And from there, that's where it started from. She was the one in charge of monitoring the phone calls that prisoners make when inmates talk. So she had a line where she could talk to him. She got him a phone because she knew the ins and outs of how the prison worked. So she started, nobody knew this, but she started laying plans, like she started selling her house, getting rid of her boat. She had a whole bunch of stuff. She ain't never had kids, and the only thing she had was her parents and her dog. So her life was kind of sheltered. She never really hung out a lot, but they said she was real sweet at the jail. That it was two sides of her. That no matter what time you called her for anything about had something to do with that jail, she always was the one that knew the answer, and she always answered. But they said the part that y'all didn't see is that sometimes when she was around people she was close to, before she answered the phone, she started talking shit like, "God damn, what the fuck they want? Hello, this is Vicky." That's how she be. So anyway, she started selling her house and shit, but nobody was thinking. But they used to always ask her when she was going to retire. And one day she dropped her retirement papers. But what nobody was realizing, because they didn't know she had a relationship with this inmate, was that she was coinciding her life around a time when he would had to be transported or something. So anyway, they worked real hard this day. She did, like, she was able to do a dry run with this fool to see how she could leave the jail and get away. So anyway, lo and behold, she sold her house. She had money. They was gonna go live up in the woods in the trail or somewhere in the wilderness. But he didn't care because I think he really did love her. So anyway, she was supposed to take him to a psych evaluation at the courthouse, and nobody heard nothing from her. So after about 3 or 4 hours, they was like, "Yo, where's what's his name at?" She went by herself with this dude. We know he a felon. He much bigger than her. He tower over her. She like 6'7", and she like 5 foot or some shit, 5'2". So anyway, they she was missing. So they started trying to figure out where she was at. They went to the jail. They run around inside the courthouse looking for her, trying to see if they could find her. Then they finally had to do a panic. But the same day that all this was going on, the crew at her jail was half mast because the upper echelon people had went to a corrections officer's graduation all in another town, like 2 hours away in another town or some shit. So they was really working on skeletons. So anyway, at the while they started looking for her car. They found her car parked on a mall parking lot. And anyway, from this series, they start. So they thinking that this dude done kidnapped the woman. And so they starting to go back, and the jail people talking to each other, they're looking at film, and then finally one of the corrections officers catches it. She's like, "That's a failed thing right there." She said, "We watched this thing like 100 times. Why we didn't catch it?" One of the protocols is that you're never supposed to let a prisoner get behind you. And they said the way that she was walking with him behind her as they was leaving the jail. They going outside, like under the what you call it, the Sally, under the Bay Sally or under the Bay or whatever. And the girl was like, something off with that. And then all of a sudden everything started falling apart. He got a phone. How they had been talking to each other for like two. She been in a relationship with dude for 3 years. How they was fucking in the jail. How they was able to do that. How slick that was. How betrayed her. The people that worked with her felt. I mean, it was good. And the worst thing was the saddest is I think she really was in love with this dude. And right where it got to the end, it was getting close. They didn't know where they was going. It was taking them too long to get whatever the fuck they was going. But they found out that the cops and SWAT was outside the hotel, and when they in pursuit, you can hear she start calling 911 because the SWAT and shit is in pursuit of her, and you could tell when she was in charge of this criminal journey, it seemed like it had control of it. When he started taking control of it, it was weird. Like for instance, one of the getaway cars was an orange Ford Escort or some shit. Why would you buy an orange car if you're on the run? So instead of them just ditching another car, this fool he buy a spray paint and paint the car like some kind of gray. But you could tell they didn't never get finished. Like they were saying little shit. And the biggest thing they knew that he was in charge was when the SWAT team was outside the hotel and they on a high speed chase and you hear Vicky in the car and she tell Casey we should have stayed in the fucking hotel. Then they hit an embankment or something and all you hear is that she say the airbags is deployed and next thing you know you just hear the guy named Casey getting arrested and he's like, "Is my wife okay?" Because they either had did an impromptu ceremony or they did like a spiritual ceremony where they got married to each other, but it was real good because you'd have never thought she was a regular ass. The people that were her coworkers were funny. They gave a lot of input. One of them was real funny. She was hilarious. And they talked about the people in Alabama, but like they had that jail was a family. And I think when you go through something like that, when somebody betrayed, when you get betrayed a certain type of way, it makes you, I don't know, it makes you angry. So, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you was hearing me, listening to me talk about this white lady. And then here go the thing too. Her husband, this guy, her cellmate boyfriend was 20 years her junior. So, that really made Vicky really feel like something. But she was real mature. And I think this dude really need to be mothered. So, it's just weird, the weird dynamic. But this thing is like 88 minutes. It's 88 minutes. Oh, yeah, I think it's like 100, maybe 199 minutes. Yeah, it's like 99 minutes. So you could have been anywhere, but I was glad you was here with me this Sunday. Have a wonderful Sunday. It's still raining behind that tropical storm, Helene, and we're getting some rain off and on. So listen, stay safe, be safe. Can you believe we headed for October? God is good. So anyway, bless you. Bye now.